Good morning, guys. Drinking my shake per usual. I can't stress enough how awesome these things are. You see me put them almost every single one of my videos. I get asked all the time what's in them. It's just water, spinach, protein, frozen fruit, Greek yogurt, and a little bit of love, right? And one thing I love about these is not only is it delicious, not only does it knock out a serving of fruit, serving of vegetables if you have a struggle getting those in your day, but while I'm dieting, it also is like a way to curb like a sweet tooth because you're getting that like sugar and the sweetness from fruit, which is nature's candy, in a delicious beverage without actually going out and purchasing like a sugary drink or craving that. So I cannot stress enough how awesome these are. Use frozen fruit. Enjoy the video. Today is actually launch day. It's Tuesday for me. I need to schedule out this whole week because like I'm traveling on the day you're watching this video, but I also need to have a video up for you today, and I need to have a video up for Saturday. So yeah, let's begin the day. What is going on, guys? We are in dash cam mode for the first time. So today is the launch of the For Apparel line, and I talk about this kind of stuff like periodically, like when I have launches coming up, but I never really go super in depth because the overall goal of my channel is not to make it like an For Apparel channel featuring your boy Maxx Chewning, where I just do nothing but market and tell you about the clothing. But I do also want to give a little bit of insight to the things that I've learned over the course of the years, because I have been, this guy is on one of those motorized unicycle things. What? Anyway, I want to give you guys some of the tips that I've learned over the course of the past couple years, just with clothing and whatnot. I think this can really apply to any kind of business that you would like to start. So first things first is inventory management. I think that's very, very important. And I guess that's like a broad term, because what I mean by that is, I obviously started very, very small. I started with 150 t-shirts, and now I'm into like, getting close to 5,000 units for launches. And it's taken a lot of trial and error to figure out what is, the proper amount of inventory to have for any certain launch. Also, you needed to figure out the diversity of the product in terms of, how many different colors you're gonna have, how many different designs you're gonna have. Are you gonna have, extra small through double XL? How many sizes of each article of clothing are you gonna have? And, at first you just kind of put some numbers out there, and over time you start learning about these things and, and figuring out what is the proper amount. And also, don't be afraid to try new designs. If some may hang around for a long period of time, then that those are not very popular. And on the contrary, if you have some that are amazingly popular, hold on to those, take note of those, and figure out how you can expand that specific design. But number one, inventory management. Yeah. Next up will be efficiency on shipping. So now, obviously I am just a one-man team. I get some help every now and then, but besides packing and shipping and everything, I do it all myself, like customer service, and eventually I'd like to expand into like a little team. But for right now I'm just one person. And the good thing about like Amazon Prime and things along that line is the fact that they have really stepped up the game in terms of the expectations of a customer in terms of how quickly they would like their product, and they would like it this second that they order. So when I first started doing launches, I maybe would start packing orders maybe like the next day or something like that. But now I try to get everything out as quickly as possible, and I think just efficiency will go a long way in terms of customer retention and having people come back to you because they have a good experience the first time around. So with any business, I think that your number one priority, obviously, you have things such as quality control of your product, and you also have customer service, so making sure that the overall user experience is great, whether your website is running smoothly and they're not having any issues with ordering, or it's not complicated to order, but just being as efficient and as quick as possible to get out the thing that someone ordered goes a long way, because if someone orders something and then they get an email notification within 24 hours or within 12 hours that says, hey, you know, your label's been printed, hey, you know, your order's on the way, I think that really has a good impact, not only on the brand, but just the integrity of, you know, making sure that, you know, the customer comes first in terms of everything you're doing. The third piece of advice that I'll give on this specific segment, I could go talk about this for forever, so let me know if you like this kind of stuff, but is to have patience with anything you're doing. I mean, obviously I do specifically like apparel and clothing, but you understand, like, I've been doing this for what, 3 years now, and it's grown a lot, and I've learned a lot, and I think sometimes people jump in over their heads and they order way too much. You need to scale as you grow. You need to believe in yourself and take, you know, structured risks in terms of growing the business, the company, or whatever you want to call it, and also have patience with your products, because a lot of time I'll see people who, you know, they don't go through enough samples. Like, keep in mind, it took me almost 2 years to finalize my compression pants that I am so freaking happy with, that if you like compression gear, I know that you'll love these, because I put so much work into them, and you know, I'm very, very proud of them, and I think if I had just, you know, jumped the gun and released things a lot earlier, the product would not be as good as it is today. And it's because I went through, you know, months and months and months and like years of like trials and errors and samples and learning and mistakes. And like, I think a lot of people just assume that they're gonna get it right the first time, the first product is gonna be the best product, or that they're gonna blow up overnight. Everything takes time in terms of growing whatever you're doing, so believe in yourself, have patience, and before you know it, you'll be at a point where you'll look back and be like, holy crap, you know, what I started so long ago has blown up into something I could have never imagined. So that's my little words of wisdom. You know, again, this is like, I don't really like having these like super long, drawn out chats, but if you guys like this, I will incorporate it a little bit more. And yeah, so now I'm gonna head to the office and just begin the hectic day of launch, but it's a good hectic. And yeah, I love everything that Ever For Apparel has grown into. I love what I've learned, and like, some people just want to go from like point A to point C, right? But they don't want to learn B. And a lot of people are like, who's your supplier, dude? Give me your supplier. Like, there's so much that goes on in between just like having a supplier and actually knowing how business runs. So learn. Don't just try to be like given everything, because if you are, then you'll wish you had like learned the process instead of just been spoon-fed the end result. It's a tough kind of pill to swallow sometimes because it's frustrating, but in the long run, you will thank yourself for learning the knowledge of everything. Because I'm glad that I've been doing this for so long. I'm glad, you know, I'm not glad that I made mistakes, but I'm glad that I have learned so much, and I know every inside and out of, you know, the structure that is what I do. So it takes time, guys. Best tasting jerky on earth, guaranteed. Well, you sold me. Need some launch day essentials, going with, oh my gosh, I almost got regular Coke. No! Where's the diet? And we'll go with Diet Pep. Fun fact, I actually like Pepsi more than Coke. Crazy, right? Then I'm going to get a liter of water. Yeah, do we have a liter of water? Just get a large farva. I don't want a large farva. I want a gosh darn liter of water. Best tasting jerky in the world. I'll see about that. It says guaranteed best tasting jerky. It's better make me Jamaican crazy. Make me go Jamaican crazy. It's like pretty good. I was expecting a little more spicy meatball. Louis, you know you don't have to be in the okay, anyway. So another thing is organization, and this kind of relates to the inventory management. So we have like extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and double XL on the shelves. And then these ones we just built because I have all these boxes and I didn't have any shelving for them but now we do. But I also want to reorganize a little bit because this is obviously cluttered and a mess, but that's because I didn't have the shelves. And I want to get rid of some of this stuff and move it over and put one of the shelves here. So I think organization is a huge factor in everything that you're doing. So let's go ahead and change this right here. Boom. So what I did is I moved this shelf over here. So this has all like compression stuff, and I have like a whole restock coming. So this is gonna be like a compression area. And then obviously all the shirts are kind of, you know, organized by small, medium, large and everything. Probably maybe even order one more shelf for here, and potentially could even put another 1, 2 right here. The key with this office is it's designed to be a workspace, and the issue that we were having is we had too much free space, which allowed clutter to happen. So the more effectively we use the space for inventory, the less space there is to have crap.
Right, so I didn't want to do that. I built it for 10 months, basically, to my age. I think like 5 months long, basically. If I had the internet, I'd work on something.
Yummy. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the fitness portion of the video. Today's gonna be a push day, and what I'm gonna do is talk about my cut, talk about what's gonna happen after this little series that we're doing, and just my thoughts about everything. And I'm gonna do it while showing you my entire workout. The last deadlift video I put up, which is the previous one of this one, got a really good response of the raw workout. So I'm gonna do something similar to that today with a little bit more chatty Cathy Maxxy in between. I don't do these whole raw workout things very often because I find them very boring to make and very boring to watch because I don't put any creativity into it. It's just like set up the tripod, film my entire set, show the entire set, and it's a whole video. But it's helpful in this scenario because I'm traveling so much and I need content, so it kind of helps me get ahead a little bit. So sit back, relax, and we'll talk about the mini cut with Minnie and me. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this mini cut and my thoughts and what we kind of have in store for the future. Now, I started at 176 pounds, and my final weight after about, 10 weeks, I think, was 163. So that's 13 pounds lost. But honestly, I really do not think that I lost 13 pounds of like body fat, or in the internet's term, I probably lost 13 pounds of muscle, right? No, the thing is when you're tracking your weight, you really need to have an average weight weigh-in. So that means like for maybe a week, you need to track your weight every single day and then take the average of that, and that is your weight. I just weighed myself on the first day, and that was what I said my starting weight was. So I don't know if 13 pounds is exactly how many I lost, but I didn't plan on dropping down as low as I did. I think I definitely lost a little bit more weight than I planned, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I started incorporating cardio, which is not originally part of the plan, but I did want to speed it up to ensure that I, looked as, quote unquote, as good as possible for this Miami trip, because it was important to me. I haven't really done a cut in a long time, so this is cool to actually hold myself accountable. And as far as my calories, I did not lower them beyond one adjustment, and the only adjustment I did was lowering my carbs 25 and my fat 5, which is honestly basically nothing. So the biggest factor in my weight loss was the cardio and the fact that I just was accurately tracking my macros. For too long, I was just ballparking it and just eating dinner with my friends and going over my macros a lot and just not really caring. And but tracking my macros was the biggest factor in my weight loss, and then obviously the cardio sped it up. But honestly, my energy levels were very, very high during the entire thing. I'm an excited person, but I did not feel like dragged out or groggy at any point. So the weight loss, in my opinion, was fine. Now let's talk about the strength loss, or the potential strength loss. Now, obviously, strength loss will happen in a cut. You're realistically not going to be gaining a ton of strength. You ideally want to just try to maintain as much as possible. Back in the day when I did deadlifts, I honestly went up in my deadlift strength while staying the same weight, but that's a whole nother topic. But in my opinion, I don't think that my strength loss was too significant. Obviously, my bench always sucks, but managing 420 pounds for doubles on squats for multiple weeks in a row, managing the most recent set of deadlifts where it was 530 pounds for doubles, which is a body weight PR for reps for me. I'm very, very happy with that. And after looking at all of my lifts, if I can somewhat maintain the same strength at a lower weight,
then that obviously means that I was just carrying unnecessary body fat. So this was a really good kind of eye-opener to the fact that I was kind of walking around a little heavier than I needed to. I know everyone, wants me to get up to 200 pounds. That's not going to happen, but I really like the fact that I dropped weight and still can maintain my strength. My goal is not to obviously to hit any crazy PRs, but to just keep enjoying my time in the gym, and lifting heavy is something that I love to do. So now, what is next with the diet? Are we going to keep on dropping weight? So I have a lot of traveling coming up. Obviously, Australia. I have like a Greece trip. I want to go over to Ireland. A lot of trips coming up, and the warmer season is coming up. So I'm not going to be dieting anymore. So there's no more weight loss. I really like being back on structure with my macros. I really enjoy hitting numbers. It kind of brings me back to my olden days before YouTube, where I was super anal about tracking macros every single day, or like the earlier days of my YouTube career. And it just feels good to be back. In my opinion, I think tracking macros is almost like a video game. And every single day, if I can hit my macros perfectly, it's like, you win! You're the winner, Max! So I just really like it. So I'm going to keep the structure of tracking macros. The thing I'll be changing is I'll probably not be doing as much cardio, maybe only about 2 days a week, just for my cardiovascular system. And I did not have any cheat days during this entire cut because I just felt it wasn't necessary. I didn't need them. But I probably will be incorporating, likely like back to my original, like once a week, like Sundays, where I just don't track macros, and I just, whatever. There'll probably be a slight bump in calories, but only minimal, because summer is coming and traveling is coming. And as far as my programming future, I would like to do 3 things. 1, hop on a bench program. 2, maintain as much strength as possible. And 3, compete at a lower weight class in a powerlifting competition. But I still be incorporating a lot of hypertrophy in my training because I just like doing it. Thank you guys for listening to this voiceover, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Alright, so I'm at Pokeworks, and now whenever I get this, I get asked, how do I estimate macros? And I've talked about this before, but for example, in this bowl we have white rice, cabbage, cucumber, kale, green onion, salmon, no, we have tuna and chicken. Not salmon, tuna, chicken. No, we do have salmon. It's salmon and chicken. So the macros that I've left for today, okay, are 70 carb, 15 fat, and 20 protein. And what I personally do is when I have something like that, where it's kind of like, medium carb, low fat, and like medium to low protein, I just call this meal That'll Do Pig, aka I eat this and then I'm done for the day. But you can't just like, as soon as you start tracking macros, automatically be able to be a pro guesstimator. You're never gonna be a pro guesstimator, but once you start like cooking rice or something, you'll know what a serving of rice looks like. A cup of rice is 40 carbs. And then the sauce, if I get a light sauce, you just estimate about 20 carbs. So boom, that's 60 carb right there. The protein, again, is an estimate. It wasn't a crazy amount. You figure 3 to 4 ounces of chicken, depending if it's cooked or raw, is gonna be about 23 grams protein. So it's a ballpark, guys, because remember, at the end of the day, it ain't that serious. But just don't go overboard. Don't be like, sauce, 20 carbs, Be smart, dude. Peter, you can eat now, dude. I'm done. Thanks man. Hey,
Day 7,000, Maserati owner, still nowhere to be found. Tune in next month for the same update. Current time, 1:09 in the morning. I have been working on the compression pants for girls for the past hour with my supplier because I want to get them correct. So when you put on my pants, well, not my pants, but your pants, when you put on you get the idea. I want it to be good. So I know that this video was extremely different than normal. There wasn't edits in there, a lot of talking about the business side of stuff, and then my thoughts on the cut. So I appreciate you guys for sticking around if you got to this part. The main reason was, honestly, with it being launch week, and I leave for Miami in a day, and then I leave for Australia right after that, and I still don't want to miss any uploads, so I have to have a video already. I need to film another video to have it up for Saturday, and then I have to edit both Miami videos when I get back on Sunday while packing for Australia on Monday, then upload those videos to have another video up for Monday and Wednesday because I'll be traveling on Tuesday and landing in Australia on Wednesday. Am I confusing you already? Because I'm confusing myself. And if I can manage to not miss any uploads, that would be ideal. And doing all this while launch day and launch week is happening and like planning like activities for a bachelor party is just insane. So again, not my normal style of video, but this is the fact that I didn't do a ton of edits helped me kind of get ahead and not be, well, I'm still kind of stressed, but less stressed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you spending time watching my face. The next video that you see, oh no, take that back. On Monday, the plan for Monday is I'm gonna do 2 videos for Miami, one of which will be a strictly an edit, like 3 to 5 minute video, just an edit, hopefully of an epic time in Miami, and then the video after that will be a vlog, and then after that it'll be Australia. I'm confusing myself. Okay, good night, guys. I'm so tired. I have to get up so early tomorrow because I have to do so much work. I'm rambling. Goodbye. Hit the thumbs up button. If you get this far, then say I hit the thumbs up button. See you later, dude. Before you go, not sure how many people made it to this, of course, making my smoothie. Fun fact, I found pineapple chunks. Wow, what a time to be alive. Let me show you guys the final physique update before my trip. If you just stayed this long, I don't know. Final physique update. Before my trip, not flexing, relaxed, and then it hurts. And let me show you my final weight before my trip. Holy shit!